I didn't feel like quitting. I just didn't feel like continuing. So today I want to talk about my long walk and why it was a good representation of progress being made on the ordinary days. So I did my long walk yesterday. It was 11 miles. It was one more mile than it was last week, which was 10. And I thought, I can do this. It's not hard. I just did 10 last week and I'll just throw on another mile, no big deal. And it was cold. For the first time, it's actually cold here in Arkansas. It was 31 degrees, feels like 21 when I started. And when I finished, it was 24 degrees, feels like 15 degrees. So it was cold. And I had checked it all out before I got up in the morning because I always do that because I don't want to really be walking in ice or really wet weather if I have to go to work, which I didn't, but I always check the weather so I know what I'm going to be up against. I typically wear like 3 jackets, 3 like hoodies, and so that I can peel them off as I go. And it was super windy. I mean, I could hear the wind howling through the house before I ever even started. So I have wussy ears, so I made sure to wear an earband. And this is going to sound crazy to you, but I wanted to walk in the dark. Every morning before work, it's dark outside. And so I get my walk done completely in the dark. So I got up early and had coffee, had plenty of coffee. And then I went outside and started walking at about 4:30, which is standard, but I was going 11 miles. And I wore 2 jackets only because I feel like sometimes I overdress and then it's like trying to get to the first mile or the first loop. I have a 1/3 of a mile loop that I do to come up, to take the jacket off and leave it at the top. So I wore 2 with the headband and regular long sleeve t-shirt and long pants. And I was actually not cold. I warmed up really quickly. I did take off my mittens very quickly. And that's odd and backwards. Typically, my hands are colder from the beginning. I mean, like I'll be ready to take off jackets before I'm ready to take off my mittens. But yesterday was different, and I was good. I was comfortable. Yes, it was cold every time I came out around the side of the house. Windy, so windy. But it was good. It was comfortable. So I got about 2 miles into it. The music is good. I'm feeling good, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, I just didn't want to do it. And I thought, this is dumb. I have 11 miles. It's going to be a piece of cake. I know how to do this. I can do this. And I just had this incessant tug of, I don't want to do this. Well, then I had a hair malfunction. I had my hair in a lower ponytail so that I could put the earband on. And I had little pieces up here and they get in the light and it makes me crazy. So I had to stop, put some pins in the top to keep my hair from being in the front of my face. Then I'm walking some more and I'm like seriously talking to myself, Lori, you can do this. You're a Marine. You can do this. We do not quit doing hard things. We can do this. And it wasn't hard. So I walked with Spotify for probably, 5 months without doing the premium version of it. And then they throw in an ad. Probably every 3 songs you get 3 ads. So finally I decided it's time. I made a cool walking list. It's called Aging Rebel Walk Like You Mean It if you want to walk to it. It's got great music on it. It's got nice beat, good. A lot of it is disco and like 70s kind of Burn Baby Burn. It's good stuff. And so I keep it to myself. I only listen to it when I walk, which makes it extra special. Oh my gosh, I love this song. I'm so excited to walk to this song. But anyway, yesterday, so every once in a while, now that I'm not getting ads, it seems like Spotify wants to still get involved, and they'll throw in a song that's too slow or that I don't know or like. And so then I had to try and get it back on my playlist, and something happened to the sound. And I had it all the way up and I still couldn't hear hardly. So that got in the way of everything. And I thought, okay, I know what this song sounds like. I'll just like sing it in my head and I'll be able to keep going. And after I got that sort of figured out, it did come back. The sound did come back. And I walked all 11 miles, and it was good. Um, I have to remember that when I'm going up the hill toward the end, my inclination is to just like lean into it, lean up the hill. But ultimately, standing up straight is really better for me. So I really had to focus on that toward the end because I was tired. It wasn't hard, like I was able to finish it, but I was really tired when I was finished and I was ready to be done when it was done. So when all was said and done and I figured it out, I walked 15-minute, 11-second miles, which for 11 miles, and that's pretty good. I had another portion of the time where I went, no, because the sun started coming up. And for whatever reason, I thought if I do it in the dark, it'll go faster. It's kind of like the conundrum. Like, I really need to do this time on feet. I really need to do these miles and get used to it. And I really love doing it. But it's like, okay, I want to go faster because then it's done sooner. Even though I don't need, I'm not trying for speed. But the cool thing is that I think that if I can keep that speed up, it's decent. Like I feel like I'm progressing. And this is the point I'm trying to make is that progression and progress in your training doesn't always look fun and exciting and big and whatever. Sometimes it's like, I'm going to do this, Lori, you can do this. You're a Marine, you can do tough stuff. And actually talking myself through it because everything in me said, oh, let's not do this today. It's cold. Let's get back in that nice warm bed and snuggle down, which we haven't been able to do because it hasn't been cold. So, but progress is like that. I think I walked faster than I did. I didn't look. I should have looked to see if I walked faster than I did the 10 miles last week. But I remember last week feeling the same thing, like I'm not really, like it's not hard. I can still do it, but I'm really glad it's finished because I'm tired and I'm ready to be finished. And so I did it, and this is how progress looks. You just keep doing the small stuff every day. You just keep going even when you don't really want to go. And it didn't have to be fast. It just ended up being fast because I think the music keeps me going. That's one of the reasons why I made this playlist. I feel like I just want to finish my 50K. I don't care. I am not fast. I have never been fast. Have I told you about the 86-year-old lady story? Yeah, when I was like 27 years old, I belonged to Chicago area runners. And I loved this Mother's Day race they had called Chicago Avenue on the Run. And I was getting towards the end of it. It was a 10K. Getting toward the end of it, and I'm like, oh, there's an old lady in front of me. She's got white curly hair and glasses, and she's old. And I go really, really fast. And I came through the chute right after her. And the next day, she was on the front of the Chicago Sun-Times, 86-year-old great grandmother, blah, blah, blah. I thought that's going to be me. When I'm 86, I'm finally going to be like somebody who can finish, and be notified for it. And I think that maybe someday I'll get age group winnings because I'll be the only one in there, or I'll end up being the fastest old lady. But I'm not fast. So my goal in any of these races is not to even win, but to finish it. So I made the playlist because it's got music I really love. It's got a good beat. You can walk to it. I did the day that we hit the deer. I used my book, and I'm going to tell you about that book at the end because it's about an aging rebel. Anyway, and I used a metronome app, and it didn't seem like I was going as fast. I think I still did decent timings, but it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't motivational. I don't know what it was. It was, I love the music I have on my playlist, and it makes all the difference in the world. So while I enjoyed listening to the story, I felt like it didn't get me down the road like I wanted it to. And so I don't know if I'll do that again. Just a plain metronome. If I didn't have the music to walk to, that might be a good option because I keep thinking about, like, if I'm doing one of these trail races that's kind of out where there's no coverage, I may not get the music and I'll have to do it without. But in the meantime, I train with the music, and I'm hoping to walk with the music because it's keeping me at a certain pace, which is a good pace for me. And I feel like I'm actually improving. Some miles they're not even 14 minutes, which is so exciting to me. Like, I can't believe I can walk that fast. It's very exciting. So that's what I'm doing. But But this whole thing with Spotify throwing in random songs and then trying to get back into what I really want to listen to, that it takes time and it just gets in the middle of my whole mojo. So I had to do that. Typically, what I'll do is I'll go back into my playlist and just press the first song and go from there. And I thought I would rather hear songs that are actually on my playlist twice, which I did. I heard maybe 5 songs twice, but it's okay because I love them, and the only time I hear them is when I'm walking. So um, that's how I get out of that whole thing. It's dumb. Anyway, the playlist is good, and I did well, and I'm going to do well when I do the 50K. Showing up for yourself when it doesn't feel exciting and it doesn't feel inspiring and it feels cold and it feels unfriendly. That's where the progress is made. Those little bitty days where you're just keeping on going, keeping on because you can and you do. And that's when you show up for yourself, and it's so good. So now I want to talk to you about this book that I was listening to. It's called The Marvelous Lives of Marjorie Post. And I think that she was an aging rebel. Marjorie Post was the daughter of C.W. Post, who's created Post cereal. And she was his daughter, and then she married her husband and became a society lady, but they kind of frowned on her because she was new money. But yet she had all this money because of the company, and eventually it became General Mills. So this lady was married 3 times, and for love every time. She just loved to be in love, and she had 3 very different husbands. The first one was kind of a cold upper crust society guy, and the second guy was E.F. Hutton, and he ran the company for her when they changed it to be General Foods, which we all know General Foods. And she, though, against his wishes, pushed them to buy Bird's Eye frozen food, which was like such a very great idea. It brought them tons of money. And then she ended up married to a guy who was a diplomat, and they served in Russia and Luxembourg and Belgium. And her story is kind of like she had 3 daughters, and she wanted them to know that they could stand on their own. Like back when she was married to the first husband, women couldn't be on boards of companies. So even though it was her own company, she couldn't serve on the board. And she didn't do that until I think she was married to the end of her marriage to the second guy. She ended up serving on the board of General Foods. And it was in her from the very beginning, and she was a humanitarian. She wanted to do things with all that money. She kept thinking, what is the point of this? So she kept over her life, and this was like in the early 1900s. She was instrumental in making field hospital in World War I. She sent all this everything over there, doctors and bandages and the whole thing, to a battlefield hospital. And then so she wanted to always find some purpose. Like, what is my purpose here? I have all this money, and what can I do with it? So she was always trying to help people. Like, medical was big. She built a hospital in West Palm Beach. She built Mar-a-Lago. That was her house. It was just such a really cool story to watch her go through all these changes in her life. And she died when she was 86. But she kept connecting and building the whole time. She never slowed down. And in that day and age, it's kind of remarkable, to read about somebody like that. But it was a great book. I'll put the link in the description below if you think you want a nice long saga. It was great. I loved it. And I'm sorry it's over, because now I have to find my next book. And I do love women's historical fiction, and this one was just one of the best books I've read in a long time. So I highly recommend it. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for coming along with me. I don't mean to complain about my training, because I just feel like you have to keep yourself focused and keep your head in the game. That's kind of was my point today, that little things, all you have to do is say, okay, I'm not doing that. And then no progress will be made. And you don't want to be in that spot. You want to still keep being strong and healthy. And if you keep pushing that little niggling stuff that you don't, stupid, silly stuff like my hair. I mean, really? But that's kind of where I was yesterday, and I finished it, and it was good. And that's how to have an excellent training day when you don't even feel like being there. Thanks for spending time with me today. If this encouraged you, give it a thumbs up and share it with another aging rebel who needs a little hope. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, live strong, laugh often, and shine with purpose.